Dr. Mehta, you assisted Dr. MJ Gandhi early in your journey and you often speak about him as a mentor.
Yeah.
What about his presence, his personality, or his principles that left such a deep imprint on you?
I used to meet him every day. And while working with him, I used to learn, observe keenly, and try to imbibe his mannerisms. Mannerisms with dealing with people, patients, staff, students, everybody. And at the same time, to be able to live in the circumstances that we had at that time, preliminary, actually, I would say we were at the primitive stage of cardiology at the Sion Hospital at that point of time, and yet how we steered through and navigated our journey. Like to give you a few examples. One day I was very angry. I said, this registrar of ours, the doctor, the junior doctor, he has not taken rounds for 2 days and is bluffing. I'm very angry, he should be dismissed. He said, look, Ashwin, he's here only for 4 months more. Thereafter, the new one will come. So let's cover him up for 4 months. Bear with him, because your one action, a rude action, will spoil his career forever. And I got his point. I said, if somebody is refusing to mend his ways and not improve, we don't have to be vengeful. That one thing I learned, not to be vengeful. Second thing, one day I was contesting for presidentship of Cardiology Society of India, and I was stressed out because competition, phoning people, procuring votes, procuring favors, and he saw me. He said, Ashwin, these are voluntary achievements. These are not compulsory. These kind of self-imposed voluntary achievements are to be enjoyed. If you can't enjoy, give it up. You don't have to stress yourself for them. Anything that gives you pleasure, and if it is not necessarily compulsory and voluntary only, you take it or leave it. It's up to you. So, while dealing with the day-to-day life, many events come which make you upset, and he was immensely clever at that, and it was his personality, not necessarily that he was practicing this as a strategy. No, he was born like that. And downfalls or a bad time would not disturb him, and excitement would not be there in case of accomplishments and achievements. I would say he was a sthita prajna. In Gita's words, was sthita prajna, and absolutely stoic, poised, balanced, equanimous. Those qualities I adore.
So, Doctor, when you talk about Professor Dr. MJ Gandhi, what I've understood is he's left a lasting impact on you.
He did.
And
Yes.
as a mentor that he is, what is one such approach that has really shaped your future? The best among those that you may want to share one.
Courage.
Okay.
There are situations, Bhavik, in my life when I've taken a patient on the table and not everybody makes it.
Sure.
Sometimes I would lose them on table, and imagine I have to go out and break this news. And that's doctor, we brought him in a completely walking state, and he walked to the hospital, and now he's no more. What are you telling, doctor? That I think is not very easy to manage. I learned that from him.
So, Doctor, it's easy to see from outside that he's a doctor and he's to treat patient, but there are so many other facets that you have to manage. Manage the paramedic staff, manage the emotions of various family members, manage again the staff in the operation theater. A lot of things to manage. So it's not easy, right? How do you differentiate between sympathy and empathy?
Empathy is an acquired quality. To some extent, it is inborn. If you are stone-hearted, you can't be empathetic. But largely you acquire and learn. To give you an example, one day I was going and parking my car at Sion Hospital, and I saw one lady, and she was being pushed around by the ward where it was a visiting time, and she was not being allowed to go inside. And the I apparently could see that the ward boy and the watchman and everybody was rude to her. So I called her. I said, and she said, "Okay, Doctor Saab, मैं भांडुप से आती हूँ. I start my journey at 5 o'clock in the morning. I get up at 3 o'clock, prepare food for my children, hand over my children to my neighbor, start walking from Bandu, come here and reach here at 10 o'clock, only to feed my husband." And when such a person is pushed around, you can imagine the psychological trauma. Now, to be able to put yourself into that position and experience the same trauma, that is empathy. Sympathy, all right, there is a anath ashram, needs money, food, I pass a check, 1 lakh, take this, my best wishes for you. That is sympathy. Empathy requires involvement to be able to put yourself in the position of a person to whom you want to help and realize that is empathy. And that, I think, is the most essential quality a doctor should possess. A doctor without empathy is not a doctor.
So, doctor, as I converse with you, I'm trying to learn more about the qualities of being a better doctor that you are talking about. Uh, when I met you first, you spoke about a poster in front of you. Whenever in the morning you get up, you see and you look at that poster and you think, can you tell our cardiologists and other doctors about it?
Interesting. You see, when I was in first MBBS student, by that time, I was already married, by the way, I must tell you. I got married very early in my life, and my wife would stay alone at home. And it was a bachelor's life again for her and me. For both of us in that respect. I would be in the hostel. In my hostel room, there was a wall on which I had a slogan, idiom written by Swami Vivekananda. Arise, awake, and stop not till the goal is reached. My goal is to get gold medal in first MBBS examination. And I wished I worked in that direction and I achieved.
So, manifestation is what people talk about. The secret as a book, or the attraction towards certain thoughts that you want to pull and achieve something that world talks about. So, what I want to talk about, doctor, is here and there we are talking about picking great qualities from great personalities.
Yeah.
And uska in Hindi, uska mishran, may I say that it's Dr. A.B. Mehta, because you are a legend. But in your own words, if for young cardiologists, you are to call out 3 important values in a hospital setup, what would they be?
First of all, it's up to people to consider me a legend. I don't know. Number 2 is that I already, as I said, when you have tremendous passion for the work, when you want a passion for fulfillment of the duty that you are assigned to, then you don't need holidays. It's automatic because you enjoy your work so much that you do not have to think of seeking enjoyment outside your field. That's my first lesson. Second is, you should have a goal. If you are without goals, howsoever fast you are, your speed will take you haywire. You will not be able to achieve your goal. So goal must be set, the directions must be set in such a way that you reach to your goal fastest and the quickest. That's my second. And third, obviously, detached attitude. Detached attitude means, like I would say Sachin Tendulkar, when he's playing a fast ball, every ball earns money for him. Every ball earns money for him. But at that time, he's not thinking of that. At that time, he's thinking of how to address the ball and how to achieve the successful treatment to that ball. So therefore, I say that detachment means when you treat a patient, I'll tell you, In my very young days, I was treating one 23-year-old man who come without pulse and blood pressure, almost dying in condition, way back in 1963. Whole night I sat with the patient as a young doctor with a noradrenaline drip, because the drip requires my presence continuously to adjust the dose. Next day he woke up, and it was a great moment for me. At that particular moment, I brought him back to life. And you know who he was? Pyare Lal, Lakshmikant Pyare Lal.
Oh, okay.
He's a legendary by himself.
Yeah.
And I was not nurturing or treating a legendary at that point of time. So irrespective of anything, karmanyeva adhikarasya ma phaleshu kadachana. That I think should be the third lesson.
Great three values, doctor, that you spoke of. I want to pick one point here about goals that you said. In the previous episode, we spoke about vision. Now we spoke about goals. For the young doctors, if there's advice to be given, we would want to set a vision, but the vision can be achieved with certain goals, right? So, as a young cardiologist that I pass out from my post-graduation, how do I look at a journey of the next 20, 30, 40 years as goals, and what should be my vision?
Goals are the milestones. They keep on changing, and the journey is the only continuity. The goal is a milestone. When you achieve one goal, comes the next one. When you achieve the next one, comes another next one. And it happens throughout the life. Without the goal and your vision to achieve those goals, I think the life would be dull, very dull. From that point of view, I would say that at given point of time, like as I said, that I want to be a very successful examinee. I wanted to procure ranks, medals. Incidentally, I got the highest number of gold medals in MBBS and MD examination. But that apart, after that the goal came, I want to be a good doctor. After that, the goal comes that I want a national award. So the goals are the driving forces to you. And the journey is a continuum. The journey has to be pleasant. The goal should be a gratification. That I think that should be the lesson to everyone who moves forward in his life.
So there are two parts to this, doctor. There are materialistic outcomes.
Yes.
Which are outcomes? I'm wanting to more understand as a profession, as a consultant, as a cardiologist, if 5 years from now, my goal would be X. What should that goal be for me to look at my journey similar to or maybe better than Dr. A.B. Mehta for the next 20, 30 years? What I as a cardiologist should be looking at professionally, working towards, learning towards, or achieving towards? If you have certain such thoughts, it would really help our audience.
In between your question, I read one line. Materialistic.
Sure.
Yes. One thing is for sure. When you have a car, I used to drive a standard Herald car. Then a time came when I decided to drive a Honda. And today, I'm driving BMW. Fine, that's okay. But I've realized the distance is the same, journey is the same, roads are the same. So it makes hardly any difference over a period of time. But the point is that the material gains give you only a temporary happiness. That I think they would realize, every young doctor who wants to earn more money, surely nothing wrong in earning more money. In legitimate, you have a right to do that. But when it comes to a level of greed and which drives you nuts, that I think is wrong. Now, point number 2. So that what should they aim to achieve? Prestige, the name, reputation, recognition. Those are the ones that give you a little more lasting. Incidentally, of course, every pathway has to lead to happiness. All efforts have to ultimately lead to happiness. And happiness is within. So therefore, satisfaction is very important aspect, etc. also. That, I mean, if you are over ambitious, you pay the price.
Sure.
Always. And that price is, I think, losing happiness and losing sleep to an extent, of course. I mean, so therefore I like this When me and my wife used to watch Mahabharata sometimes, used to say, Krishna sir, it was so full of wisdom that would touch me. And in fact, in the entire episode of Mahabharata, I'm waiting for Krishna sir to come. And I think if one reads and repeatedly practices that are all from Gita, and that it practices, I think that's one which gives you everything. You have achievement, you enjoy your achievement, you have a peace at mind, your mind is at a, so to say, compromise with the situations that you are demanded of, so on and so forth.
Sure, doctor. So, what I have understood and what I have read is when there are very corner niche clinical cases that come in the operation theatre.
They do, yes. I mean, again, yes.
Yes. So, as young cardiologists, they would want that kind of opportunity to see if I can treat a patient who's XYZ. It gives me a sense of gratification. Okay, I've learned something. I've achieved something better.
Yes.
So while you were growing in your career, do you want to call out certain instances? I heard that you have also treated the prime ministers of our country to the Nobel laureates and so on and so forth. So how would you think and feel and actually achieve what you are asked to do or what you have gone out to do?
Bhavik, I was not a chosen cardiologist
Uh-huh.
when I was a young, unknown cardiologist, where I have not achieved sufficient degree of reputation in the society. And when a case falls in my hand, in my lap, and then I have to shoulder the responsibility of treating, let us say, Jai Prakash Naran, just all of a sudden, it certainly puts on me certain degree of stress. To give you an example, when Jai Prakash Naran, after emergency, came to Jaslok Hospital for treatment, and when he was serious, I used to get phone calls from the Prime Minister's office, Madam Indira Gandhi. On his behalf, Devkant Barua would periodically phone. It would disturb my peace. If I was unable to give a full concentration on Jai Prakash Narayan's treatment, because when you find somebody is breathing over your shoulder, how the hell can you work? And my work is delicate. One mistake here and there can cost a lot. So that kind of, then I would go home. I'll discuss with my wife. And he says, "Aap Bhagwan ka smaran karke kaam kariye." In simplest way, she was saying, detach yourself, do your best. So that I think is not very easy. Easier said than done. But nevertheless, I think practice that. Now, for example, today, it's not few days ago, maybe during COVID time, me and my assistant, we went to treat Saurav. Everybody knows that Saurav had an angioplasty done by me, but it was in
You're
the
talking about
newspaper.
Saurav Ganguly.
Saurav Ganguly.
Okay.
So everybody talks about it because it was in the newspaper. And so when we went there, and then when we went inside and we found that I have to treat his blocked arteries, obviously, I do realize that when I'm doing a procedure, the whole world is watching me. What is the outcome and what happens to him after my treatment to him. So at that point of time, it is natural that if I think of that, the Saurav. But I realize, heart doesn't know that I belong to Saurav Ganguly or I belong to common man in the street. Heart is the heart. It's not written there that I'm Ganguly's heart.
Sure.
So I detach myself from all kind of social pressures and concentrate on the treatment in such a way that I follow scientific steps.
This is a great learning for me. Heart is heart, whosever heart it is, doctor.
It is.
Right? So you've used...
It doesn't hold true for heartless people, by the way, Bhavik.
Understood. But so you've used this word twice, concentrate. How do you concentrate when you have such a pressure that there are phone calls from the Prime Minister's office? You may say heart is heart, but then it's Saurav Ganguly's heart and you know the name. It's not easy. So how do you bring that focus? I understand you've also a couple of times told about your wife giving you a bit of ideas on how you could focus, but at the operation theatre, the kind of situations that you go through, if you could help our doctors understand how they detach, ensure focus is there.
Yeah. When the situation of crisis comes, there is a tremendous adrenal surge in the body. Performer,
Right.
the treatment deliverer, that's doctor, and his team, And that point of time, the most important thing is to stay cool. Moment you lose your cool, the whole team will function substandard. You immediately take leadership. For example, one day I was traveling to Baroda, and suddenly on my way to Baroda, on my way to airport rather, I got a frantic phone call that our medical director has a massive heart attack. Come back. I went back. When I went to his room, there were about 7 people. Each one was trying to execute treatment, and there was a chaos. The first thing that I did entering the room, everybody quits the room and pin drop silence. And then organized all the plan of action. And it worked. He lived there after 14 years, from that massive heart attack. So what I say, stay cool. 2, think rationally. Take the leadership. Execute the orders so that each one takes his own share of delivering the exact treatment demanded of the situation. That I think is the most important. And the second thing, be prepared for the worst. When you take a difficult case right in the beginning, if you are not prepared to face the worst possible eventuality, you should refuse to take the case. It's not everybody's cup of tea. You should refuse. So sorry, it's not my cup of tea, I will not treat it. That I think is important. Third thing, you should know your limitations before you accept the challenge. What you are talking is a little different from what you asked me is different. How do you handle the situation in terms of crisis? I did talk about it. But there are situations where you know what are your limitations is. I'm not capable of this. Many more people may be capable of it. I'm not. So this is not my cup of tea. That I think your own limitations must be understood well so that you do a proper justice to your patient.
That's a great input and learning. Thank you so much. I think you have had mentors through whom you have learned. You have had colleagues through whom you have been learning, and you're also coaching them, mentoring them, teaching them.
Yeah.
You've done a lot in terms of training young cardiologists in India. In the next episode, we should talk about how global influence of yours has been and the global societies that have partnered with you to spread your learnings and knowledge globally. So in the next episode, we would want to discuss with Dr. A.B. Mehta a lot of points related to his stint in the US, his partnerships with various international societies, and what he's brought from and within the world to India. Thank you so much, Dr. Mehta, for this conversation.
My pleasure.